Everyone's crying. So what's the occasion? Well, Congresswoman Omar got voted off the Foreign Affairs Committee.
The question is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those in favor say no. No. It's the opinion of the chair that the ayes have it and the resolution is agreed to. And without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Does that remind you of anything?
The screen breaks down the Democrats' emotional breakdown after Representative Ilhan Omar was removed from the House Foreign Affairs Committee. From AOC's outrage to Rashida Tlaib's tears, Washington turned into a political soap opera. We expose the truth behind the drama, why this isn't about racism or religion, but about holding politicians accountable for their words and actions. Stay informed, stay strong, and remember, it's time for leadership, not theatrics. Subscribe to The Screen for bold, unapologetic political commentary that cuts through the spin.
Some people meditate, some people write in a diary, and some people just cry it out.
Sorry, but that...
Please don't cry like that. Please don't, Brennan.
Democrats have been emotional this week. They're letting it all hang out. It started with Biden's chief of staff. He quit his job and couldn't control. Everyone's crying. So what's the occasion? Well, Congresswoman Omar got voted off the Foreign Affairs Committee.
The question is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those in favor say no. No. It's the opinion of the chair that the ayes have it and the resolution is agreed to. And without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Does that remind you of anything? McCarthy yanked Omar off Foreign Affairs to pay back Pelosi for yanking his people off committees. He didn't want to do it, doesn't think it's right, but he had to do it. You can't let Democrats boot your boys off committees and turn the other cheek. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. We'll just not let it happen again. Swalwell and Schiff got the boot from Intel because they're liars, leakers, and Chinese spy sleepers. And Elon got axed because of anti-Semitism. She called Israel evil and said, you know, Jews, it's all about the money. But Omar says she loves Jews, and she had no idea there was a thing with Jews and money.
I certainly did not or was not aware that the word hypnotize was a trope. I wasn't aware of the fact that there are tropes about Jews and money. That has been a very enlightening part of this journey.
I think Adam Schiff's Jewish. He's looking at her like, that's like me telling dumb blonde jokes and Dana getting upset. And I say, Dana, I never knew people tease blondes about their brains. Even I couldn't play that dumb. And it's easy for me. So 2 white guys got stripped and then a Muslim woman. So how does AOC see it? Omar was fired because of 9/11.
As a fellow New Yorker, I think one of the things that we should talk about here is also one of the disgusting legacies after 9/11 has been the targeting and racism against Muslim Americans throughout the United States of America, and this is an extension of that legacy.
Whoa! So some people did some things to Omar, and that's racist. And if the racist Republicans don't shut up, the squad is going to die.
Consistency, there is nothing consistent with the Republican Party's continued attack except for the racism and incitement of violence against women of color in this body. I had a member of the Republican caucus threaten my life, and you all and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments in this Congress. This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened. Thank you.
Whoa! I haven't seen AOC that angry since somebody called her a big booty Latina.
See this guy right there? Right there. When I was walking up, he said, hey, right in front of a Capitol Police officer, said, hey, here's this, look at that big ass, look at that big juicy booty, this Latina, like whatever, you know, all the bunch of racist, sexist stuff.
This was only the beginning. Apparently, Omar losing a committee seat was worse than January 6th.
Republicans are waging a blatantly Islamophobic and racist attack on Congresswoman Omar. And I've said it before, I will say it again. The white supremacy happening is unbelievable. This is despicable. This is just a bunch of racist gaslighting.
Could it be the way that she looks?
Time is
Could
expired.
it be her religious practices?
This clearly isn't about what Ilhan Omar said as much as who she is. Being a smart, outspoken black woman of a Muslim faith is apparently the issue.
The GOP is now doing what it is best at, weaponizing hate against a black, beautiful Muslim woman. They turn Congress into a place of fear-mongering hate. It is so painful to watch.
The racism was so strong, it brought the squad to tears.
You are showing who you all are, really.
The gentlewoman's time has expired.
Omar will not be silenced.
The gentlewoman's time has expired.
To Congresswoman Omar, I am so sorry,
has
sis,
expired.
that our country is failing you today through this chamber. You belong
The gentlewoman
in
is
that
no
committee.
longer recognized.
You belong in that committee. Have you ever seen Democrats cry for their constituents who get shot? Have you ever seen Democrats cry when the cartels poison our people? People are getting pushed into subway tracks, but this gets Democrats upset. You get fired and they don't bat an eye, but the squad gets fired and they cry. This tells you everything you need to know about these people. It's all about them. It's not about you. It's about their power, their perks, their places on committee. Where was that emotion when the terrorists were blowing up our Marines in Afghanistan? Or when moms were scrambling for baby formula? Well, Omar closed out the show, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm just going to guess that Omar reminded us that she's a Muslim immigrant from Africa.
Well, I am Muslim. I am an immigrant, and interestingly, from Africa. Is anyone surprised that I am being targeted? Is anyone surprised that I am somehow deemed unworthy to speak about American foreign policy? Or that they see me as a powerful voice that needs to be silenced?
Omar is not just a congresswoman. She tells us she is a global citizen, and people around the world celebrate her accomplishments. We don't know what those accomplishments are, but if you listen closely, the world is clapping.
My leadership and voice will not be diminished if I am not on this committee for one term. My voice will get louder and stronger, and my leadership will be celebrated around the world as it has been.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.
Welcome back to The Screen, where we cut through the noise and bring you the truth the mainstream media won't touch. If you're tired of the double standards, the tears, and the political theater coming out of Washington, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like so more patriots can find it. Let's get into it. So this week, we saw something absolutely wild on Capitol Hill. Democrats, the same party that tells us to be strong, follow the science, and lead with logic, spent the entire week crying on live television. Literally crying. Biden's chief of staff broke down in tears while resigning, calling Joe Biden the best father he's ever known. The guy couldn't even finish his speech without sobbing. And that, folks, set the tone for what would become one of the most emotional weeks in recent political memory. Then came the big story. Ilhan Omar got booted off the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Republicans finally decided to return the favor after Pelosi spent years yanking conservatives off key committees. It was long overdue. McCarthy didn't even want to do it, but let's be honest, you can't just let Democrats kick out conservatives, then sit back and play nice. If they're going to play dirty, you've got to hold them accountable. And why was Omar removed? It's simple. She has a record of making anti-Semitic remarks. She accused Israel of being evil, suggested Jewish people are motivated by money, and then claimed she didn't even know those were anti-Semitic tropes. Really? A sitting member of Congress, who votes on international policy, doesn't know that suggesting Jews control money is offensive? Spare me. But instead of owning up to her past statements, Omar and her allies went full victim mode. AOC and the rest of the squad took to the House floor, tears in their eyes, screaming about racism, Islamophobia, and oppression. AOC even said this was all part of the legacy of 9/11 and how Muslims have been targeted ever since. Let's get something straight. Omar wasn't removed because of her religion. She was removed because of her words, her actions, and her blatant disregard for accountability. The Democrats turned what should have been a straightforward consequence into a full-blown emotional meltdown. Rashida Tlaib broke down crying. AOC was shouting about violence against women of color, and the entire left acted like this was the end of democracy itself. Meanwhile, where are those tears when Americans are being killed by fentanyl, when families can't afford groceries, or when veterans are sleeping on the streets? They don't cry for the people, they cry for their power. And that's the point. This was never about fairness or justice. This was about protecting their image and keeping their grip on influence. They'll weaponize identity politics every single time to distract from their failures. They want you to believe that criticizing someone's words equals racism. It's a cheap political shield, and it's insulting to every American who's sick of the victim narrative. Then, Omar herself closed out her speech by reminding everyone that she's a Muslim immigrant from Africa, as if that automatically excuses her past remarks. She even called herself a global citizen, saying the world celebrates her leadership. Last time I checked, Ilhan Omar was elected to serve America, not the world. Maybe that's part of the problem. Too many in Congress seem more loyal to their own image and ideology than to the country they swore to defend. At the end of the day, this whole debacle shows us one thing. Democrats are more emotional about losing committee seats than they are about losing American lives to bad policy. It's all about them, their power, their prestige. Meanwhile, hardworking Americans are left to deal with the consequences of their decisions. Here's the truth. Accountability isn't racism. Actions have consequences, and it's about time Congress remembered that. If you agree that it's time to stop the emotional theatrics and start leading with strength, hit that like button, subscribe to the screen, and share this video with your friends. Let's keep spreading the truth, keep holding Washington accountable, and remind the elites that America comes first, always.